to have a very brief discussion, but hopefully the start of some discussions and some new connections across the university. If you'd like to chat, type in your chat maybe some of the things that stood out to you from that conversation around, you know, transformation and the type of transformation you are seeking. And it might be something to do with your practice, or it might be something just to do with your own sort of professional development, thinking about community engaged learning. So feel free to type in the chat maybe some of the themes that arose for you during that discussion. Eimear and Tobias, was there anything that jumped out to you as you're hopping between the rooms that you'd like to share before we head into the close?
Eimear, would you like to?
No, you start because I was in the final rooms.
Okay, I guess, Deirdre, just a couple of things really, but I suppose from my own thoughts and what I was hearing was like, you know, I guess the dilemma of transcending the boundaries of academia and normalizing third level education in maybe communities where it's not the norm, you know. So I was thinking of, you know, I was looking at UCD and 33% of their students come from diverse pathways. So the access routes are there, but how do people become inspired to avail of those access routes? And I guess also looking at how, you know, society is being restructured at the moment, and how possibly, you know, a leaving cert qualification or maybe even an undergrad degree doesn't get you as much bang for your buck nowadays as it used to, and how it's so important to kind of continue that journey of self progression and self development to further, you know, your social standing, or you know, to learn about social citizenship and social justice, you know.
Brilliant, thank you.
More or less also in the other rooms was the same. So in particular, how to approach people, you know, so how can get linked UCD and a university more broadly with this sort of practice and group of people. Also, if there were some courses, and if these courses could be open also to other faculties like sciences, or, you know, because it's easier to deal with the social science or law, but I'm a mathematician, you know, so thinking about mathematics, let us imagine how to approach people with mathematics. That could be great, but this is less usual in scientific faculties, so it could be interesting to bringing also much more scientific project instead only human science and social sciences projects. This is more or less what.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Eimear and Tobias, for leading us in those very short discussions. But I think, you know, if anybody's interested, come to the Community Engaged Learning Community of Practice when we get up and running again, hopefully next trimester, for engaging in those types of discussions, and starting with, you know, there are people who have been engaging who haven't engaged at all with community engaged learning and are learning from those who are more experienced in it. So please feel free to come along to those. So thank you, Eimear and Tobias. Eimear, I don't know whether you want to speak, or would you like to share the sort of the concluding image from today's session, as finalized as it's going to be at this point, I suppose. I'll invite you to speak to it, or just to share it, whichever you'd prefer to do.
I think I would just like to share it, if that's okay, and maybe it's a nice opportunity for people to have some individual reflection and digest what they're taking away from what has been a really wonderful and jam-packed morning.
Fantastic. Thank you, Eimear. Let me just take a moment just to have a look at the closing image. Neve has just asked, will the closing image be shared? It certainly will. And we'll share this and the recordings with anybody who has attended here today. and we're also hoping to have it up on our website as well. So we'll share the links to those once we have them up and running. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Eimear. So maybe just for yourselves, if there is a word that is coming to you today about the symposium, or something you're going to take away from the symposium, if you got nothing from the symposium, if you want to just type it into the chat, you know, what for you has kind of, have you taken from our first community engaged learning and teaching symposium in UCD, and we certainly hope to continue to build this community. So feel free to share a word in the chat. I'm now going to invite Theresa to come and help with closing the symposium, and I think we're going to spotlight everyone who has been contributing to the symposium this morning as well. So I'm going to hand over to Theresa first.
Brilliant. Thank you, Deirdre. I'm going to do a few thank yous, which is always a lovely job. But I suppose, first of all, a massive thank you to everyone who took part in today's symposium. It really was a team effort. And I think when we talk about the collective, it's, you know, you can't do these things without support and encouragement from other people. So to all our speakers and our facilitators, I hope I get everyone now. Okay, Joe, Claire, Niamh, Helga, Sarah, Sinead, Laura, Tobias, Eimear, and Eimear, I think. We really appreciate you all taking the time out of your hectic schedules to be with us today, and for presenting us with such an inspiring and engaging morning. It flew, which is always a good sign, and I think there's a lot of questions and thoughts that we can take with us going forward. A huge thanks to Ashley for her tech help and advice. We really couldn't have done it without you, so thank you so much. I want to say a really special thank you to Deirdre. She'll kill me for doing this, but for everything that she has done to build and create this network. It's a huge amount of work to voluntarily take on, and I actually think it's rather fitting that this week is National Volunteering Week. So I suppose, especially around community engaged everything in universities, there's a huge amount of unseen volunteering that happens to make these things happen. And I think this network is a huge and brilliant example of that. But I think we can already see the results of Deirdre's hard work. I'm already seeing connections being made, there are collaborations happening. So I really think the future is bright when it comes to community engaged learning in UCD. And also, I know Deirdre mentioned it earlier, but the network couldn't have been set up without the support of the UCD Learning Enhancement Project funding. So thank you to everyone involved in that. And thank you to everyone for attending today. I suppose we couldn't have it without you as well. And thank you for your contributions and for being so open to the conversation. We will be staying on for virtual lunch if anyone wants to join us. And please feel free to link in with Deirdre or myself about anything that we spoke about today. We're more than welcome to continue this conversation in the next over the summer, and hopefully in September we'll keep this conversation going. So I'll hand you over to Deirdre for the final few words.
Thank you, Theresa, and I thank you for your very kind words, but to be honest, it's been a team effort, and Theresa and Holly from the start have just been absolutely amazing in our team effort. And then thank you to the community, the people who we've been meeting for our cups of chat monthly. I mean, that has just been so, in a pandemic, it has been the highlight of my month, meeting for a cup of chat and just chatting to people and learning so much. I have learned so much. I'd like to close today with a quote. And then in teaching, here I go now, back to my primary school teacher hat on. We always finish a lesson or finish something with 3 stars and a wish. So 3 things we think we've done well and a wish for something we'd like to do in the future. But first I'm going to start with a quote. I'm actually going to take it from Sinead. Sinead, one of the things that struck me about 2 things that you said. And the first was that people need to hear that people can make it because it's never too late. And you also talked about the empower of community engaged learning. It empowered you to live your life in a way I could never have imagined. You know, I think that was the quote for me that I have goosebumps even saying it now, you know. And I'm really struck and thankful for you and your generosity in sharing your story. It was a very brave and courageous thing to do this morning, and we really appreciate that, Sinead.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No, amazing. So in terms of the community engaged learning and teaching community of practice, the CELT network or community of practice, the 3 stars I have, the 3 things I think we've done well, is we've proved that in UCD, we can build a community of people engaged and interested in community engaged learning across all colleges and all units across the whole of the university. The second thing is that we can in UCD meet new colleagues and nurture new opportunities. And I see those opportunities already happening. And Tobias is here. I mean, we could talk to Tobias about what he's doing, and it's amazing. The third star is that in UCD, we can see the transformative power of building the CELT community of practice in UCD. And Helga really talked about that, you know, the importance of that bottom-up institutional transformation. And I feel that the CELT community of practice has the potential of doing that. And then to finish with my wish, we wish to continue to build this community, to secure funding to do so. Here's the political bit. To secure funding to do so, and then to find the institutional structures within the university to help us support and promote community engaged learning across UCD. So not only do we need that, I suppose, individual and collective support, but we also would like to see more of the contextual support too. So thank you all so much for being with us and giving us your time this morning. I've just enjoyed every minute of the symposium. And for anybody who'd like to stay on for a cup of tea and a virtual lunch, you're most welcome. So thank you all very much.